All right, we are online. How are we all doing
G'day.
today? Fraser, how you going?
Good, good.
And we've got Charlie,
Hello, hello
Charlie,
again.
and Sam is back again after a week off last week,
Hello, hello.
and myself, Chris. I'm here as well. I've been here.
You
I've
dropped
been
the
here.
the double, Chris. Everyone else said their catchphrase twice.
So their catchphrase. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm
Need
just.
the
I'm just.
consistency.
I guess I'm just unique. So, what's everyone been doing? Let's just quickly get a little bit of a rundown of what people have been up to. What have you guys been up to for the last week?
It's been more work on Arvo, social media posts, but also a little bit of programming, trying to make the car not feel like crap, basically.
Ooh. When are we
So,
going to get a chance to play through that again?
probably a little while. It's
Little while. Okay.
it's slow going. Our next major milestone is a demo for February. So
February. Okay,
yeah,
that's what, 5 months away or more?
yeah,
5 months. Okay, February. We'll pencil it in.
excellent.
Charlie, what about you? What have you been up to?
I've been up to a couple of things. I have, since our last chats about Screen Australia grants and stuff like that, I've been doing a bit of research on my own to see if I could potentially get an idea off the ground, which I'm not at liberty to speak about just yet,
Oh,
because
we have to
the
sign the
person I'm
NDA,
doing.
do we?
Yeah, you got to
Okay.
sign the NDA. No, I just got to
Okay.
get one of my friends to like see what his thoughts are before I start blabbing stuff about. But it's definitely a path to take, and it's very interesting. And
Okay.
on the work side of things, I've just been trying to create diagnostic systems for an ability system in a paid game that I'm making, which has been a lot of fun. Not so much.
Sorry, a paid game you're making? Is this someone who's paying you to
Oh,
make
sorry,
this
for my
game?
actual job. Yeah, for my work.
For you. Okay, for your income.
Yeah,
A
for my
diagnostic
income.
system for an ability within
Yeah,
a
so
game.
it's a networked game, and we're finding the some of the
Oh.
abilities are breaking the server loop. So I've just
Oh.
been hard at work trying to find how to catch that. And I just have actually just before we started the
Oh,
stream,
fantastic.
I just pushed a thing to Git that I'm pretty happy with, and I
Oh,
think it should
nice.
work in the future. But that's been taking up my time for the week.
I'm not surprised. Do you remember me saying to you how much of a nightmare network games are?
Oh yeah, I do, and this
Mm.
is my first deep foray into one, and I think afterwards I'm going to stick to non-networked games.
I would love to hear when you're finished. I would love to hear sort of some of the trials and tribulations that you've been through.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love
That
to
would be
talk
cool.
about it for sure because it's such a different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many more moving parts involved than just a normal
Yeah,
single player
yeah,
game.
and that was sort of the biggest hurdle to get over at the start was just like you don't just have one layer of debugging, right? It's not just your code that's might not be working. It's like what's happening at the client level, the server level, if that information is being passed right. There's like two added layers on top of it that you got to go through, so it definitely
Yes.
slows stuff down.
Yes. Cool. All right. We'll definitely, when you finished up with that, we'll definitely take a look. And finally, Sam.
Yep.
Sam, how are we
Hey, yeah,
doing?
pretty good. I started a game design document last week, and I've started
Hey.
the the player controller this week,
Right.
and the
Nice.
and with the boring admin Jira stuff for
The
a
boring
project.
admin Jira stuff. Okay.
Important though.
A little bit.
Yes,
Little bit. So, are you starting another new game, Sam?
I had an idea that I'm not sure if there's anything to it. I guess I'll have to play test and see if there's anything like an audience for it, and
Hmm.
if there's any sort of it seems like a nice idea in my head, but the execution might prove different.
So we need an NDA to hear about yours as well. Is that the case?
Maybe.
Well, when you're ready, feel free to let us know what's going on, what you're doing. I find it very interesting that we should do a count. How many games are sort of sitting there in on the back burner out of the four of us.
Oh, I've already got 3 that are just sitting there.
Is that why? Is that? I mean, is that the key to success? Actually finishing something and getting it out there.
I think it is, yeah.
Maybe
Actually
that's
starting and then following through.
yeah. Well, do you know what I think you need? I think you need the business marketing person to hand it off, to just handball it to them once you've finished. So there you go. Put it out into the world. I'm going to go off and do my next project. Thank you very much. I don't want to do the business marketing stuff. But yeah, I think that's the ideal. If there's anyone out there who's listening who is in business and marketing and is interested in a fully non-paid gig doing stuff with gamers, let us know. Well, you can get paid if you sell the games. How's that sound? That's fair.
That's
isn't
it, yeah.
Yeah. But that business marketing side, I mean, that's what you've been working on, Fraser, isn't it? You've been focused on business and marketing.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's really confusing, and if you want clarity, it feels like you have to pay somebody to tell you what you need to do, and it's just draining. Leaves you
It's a different
no
job.
energy to do anything else. Yeah.
It's a different job, and it's very much look. There's creative parts to it, I guess. So the marketing side, you've got your creative parts, but it's not like creating a game. It's not the same sort of thing. The business marketing side, it's understanding how the business of games work, and there's whole. This is actually where there is a lot of money. And if you were to go to GDC, for instance. Like a lot of the meetings there that I sort of heard about were between publishers and those who are running game devs, and it was about funding the development of these new games, and that was pretty much like what a lot of GDC was about when I went there last time, and that's kind of where all the money is. That's sort of where all the money is changing hands. That's kind of what's going on. And then you've got all the plebs, who actually make the games, going to the sort of creative and technical things there. But that's a big part. That's a part we don't have. We need a business person. Yeah. Again, if there's anyone out there who's interested in getting involved in games, business, and marketing, just drop us a line. Let us know. So, anyway,
there's got to be people out there, doing business and marketing, and then wanting to do it for something a bit more fun than say like I don't know, a shoe brand.
If you meet them, point him in my direction.
I will.
Yeah, the
if
problem.
I don't hold on to them myself.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is there's a lot of money involved in that kind of area. And it's also very people focused. So I think I've mentioned quite often how developing games really is very much about well, it's a bit of an introvert's game, because you're sitting there by yourself doing the work, and business and marketing tend to be more for the extroverts. So we don't tend to cross paths. We don't tend to cross paths that much. We tend to move in different circles quite often. Of course, it can happen because there are a lot of very big games companies around. But you tend once the money gets there, you tend to attract a very different type of person when there's a lot of money involved, and you might not want to be in business with that particular type of person because they just want to take all the money. That's where all the NFT stuff. That's why people didn't like the NFT stuff, because it was all about marketing. You know what I'm talking about with the NFT stuff?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The licensable images were.
Yeah. Gamers just hated it. Gamers ran away in droves from all that sort of stuff. You had all these business people.
Put that in, wasn't there?
That was from the business. That was from the business and marketing. That was from the money side. But
right.
I think it's just flopped now. I think it's almost. I don't know if it's dead. There's still projects out there, but it's certainly not what it was. So, yeah, it's a lot of that money disappeared. Anyway, so there you go. Let's maybe jump in. I wanted to talk today game development education. So university versus online learning. So I don't know whether I'm sure I probably asked some of you guys why you were studying at a university, Maybe that's a good idea because you three have all finished your degree in either game design or game programming. Yeah. I'm going to throw it first up to you guys. Why? No, I guess number one, why did you do a degree, and what your thoughts are now that you've finished? How does that sound? Maybe Charlie first, because you're as I said before, the veteran before we started, having graduated, nearly 18 months ago, I think now?
Yep, just about that. I think for me, it was just a very socially standard thing to go to university, right? I've been to uni, twice before and for other things and dropped out just because I felt the pressure to go. And then 2020 came and I was like, I should go back and do something that I want to. And it's funny, so I started doing the games programming and I've now completed it. But I will say, definitely above 50, like 70% of things I learned were from free sources online. With the uni that I paid for, what I found best was the motivation for I've paid for this, I better do it. And C is just like a bit of direction in what to study, what to focus on, what subjects or topic to dive deep into. But when it comes to like the nitty gritty of, especially as a programmer, like trying to find ways to do things and whatnot, I did find the free sources where I learnt the most. So I'm at kind of two minds of, free versus university spent learning. There's definitely plus sides to both of those.
So you don't regret studying your degree?
When I look at my HECS debt, there's a bit of regret. But
fair point.
Then I look at the paper afterwards and I'm like, okay, I've got something that I can just show someone and be like, look, I'm pretty capable. I've got this.
Yeah.
But, is that just a psychological thing that I hold on to? I don't know yet. The paper hasn't got me anywhere yet.
The psychological side, that's not nothing. That's not nothing, for sure.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. And I do give it weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Fraser, you're the next eldest, or the middle child, we'll call you. Having just graduated, 12 months ago? Almost?
10. A little bit less, yeah.
10, okay. What are your thoughts, feelings?
I had, where I grew up in Whyalla, it's very much expected for a lot of students to finish high school and go to Adelaide and start uni. And so that's what I did, but then dropped out. It just wasn't working with my brain, having to move to a new city and live my own. And then so that's like the background. Essentially, I ended up floating around for a long time, just working retail and picking up a couple of skills at TAFE. And then, eventually it was like, what am I going to do? Like, keep floating, doing, just retail work and not even using my TAFE degrees. And I knew I couldn't do uni in person. So, when I heard about Torrens being an online uni and offering a course in games, I was like, wait, that might work. And it'll keep me afloat for a few years if I can get onto government support and come out with a new skill at the end.
New skill, yeah. And you've got a piece of paper as well.
And I've got a very expensive piece of paper that I'm waiting to get framed to hang up.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. A very expensive piece of paper. Cool. Okay. And Sam has just finished, like within 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's hasn't hit yet, but what drove me to studying was, I was working in a factory and I hated it.
Fair enough.
It was just the same thing. Stuck in like a little black room looking at car logo images, and that was a bit too much. So I, decided, for a change and went to uni.
Right. Wow. So no regrets?
No.
No? Cool.
No,
okay.
no regrets.
Never thought about, like, Charlie was saying that he learned a lot from online resources. Would you agree?
Yes, especially during like some of the math subjects. Khan Academy was a godsend.
Oh, okay.
Khan Academy is good for the beginner. Hell yes.
Yeah,
Really?
the textbooks were really dry and had lots of assumed prior knowledge. So if you didn't have that, you had no idea what they were talking about. So Khan Academy and random YouTube tutorials were the way to go.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. When you say textbooks, what textbooks? I don't think I've ever. I think it's been more than 15 years since I've.
I like the reading materials in the online modules.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So a bit dry and yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the online stuff was more useful. All right. Cool. Interesting. So the structure as well. I think. I think Charlie was specifically saying structure was one of the things that was really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if someone came up to me and I knew their personality to be really driven and like if they have a goal and an idea and they want to do it, I probably wouldn't direct them towards uni if they want to be a game developer. I'd be like, jump on whatever engine you want to learn, start learning it, do some game jams or whatever, and get familiar and go from there.
Now I
Like,
have to admit,
if the right type of character, like it can be done for sure.
yeah. Like, I mean, I've been teaching game design development for literally more than 20 years now. And I have had some students who've like been like the worst students because they just did what they wanted to do. And they ended up leaving and being very successful in getting into the games industry and doing it really quite well. A few people I can think of particularly. So, yeah, it's kind of what works for different people. A degree is not necessarily the right thing for everyone. But yeah, let's jump in and have a look. So university versus online learning. Yeah, making the right educational investment for your game. Because people ask me sometimes as well, because I teach, obviously, game design and development, programming, etc. So I do have people sort of asking me, what should I do? Where should I go? Should I do a degree or what have you? And then there's also, we didn't mention, but obviously I think two of you, Sam and Charlie, did software engineering, and Fraser did game design, and they can be very different beasts as well. We won't go into that at the moment, but those two courses can be quite different. So we'll talk about that. Oh, hello. Why? Here we go. So now this is what I've put together here. This is kind of for US or world. It is more US focused. But what we can see here, so the current reality as far as the industry goes, portfolio quality trumps credentials. So 68% of studios prioritize skills over degrees. I'm surprised it's not more than 68%. Who's the not 68%? Who's the 32% that actually prioritize degrees over skills? Maybe the big ones like Ubisoft, EA, they may focus more on credentials. But that's an interesting one. So mostly, nearly 70% portfolio. Market volatility. Yeah, hey, there's a bit of volatility in the games market at the moment. 41% of developers affected by layoffs in 2024. Jeez Louise. 41%. That's a huge number, yeah. But anyway, growth continues, which is quite interesting. So industry expanding to 212 billion by 2026. So it's not... That's interesting to see that despite those layoffs, the industry is actually still growing. I wonder where it's growing. That's very interesting. So opportunity exists, high demand for skilled developers despite turbulence. So bottom line, success depends upon demonstrable skills and networking effectiveness. Now, we're not talking about the type of networking Charlie's struggling with at the moment. We're talking about networking with people, so interacting with other human beings. How are you guys with networking? You guys good at networking?
I'm actually pushing myself, and I'm going to the what's it called? GCAP, the Games Pacific Asia Connect in Melbourne in October.
We might
which
have
will
to
be my
talk
first
about
networking
that.
event.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll definitely take notes and be happy to talk about it. But I wouldn't consider myself a great networker, but
No.
it's kind of, as you've got, there's the bottom line there. It's a necessity. So gonna give it a crack.
I should do more myself. I spend a lot of time sitting in here not networking at all.
Well, it's easy to do.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so University Path. Let's have a look at that. Investment returns. So this is in US dollars, of course. So premium private. So these are, okay, you know. So look at the cost there. I think that's probably a lot. And this is US dollars as well. So 160,000 to 270,000. That's like University of Southern California games or Carnegie Mellon. That's probably one of the biggest, Carnegie Mellon. So yeah, geez, that's goodness me, that's that's eye-watering. Those prices.
That is. So quick conversion to Australian dollars is about 240,000 for the 160K for your bottom line.
That's the bottom line, yeah. Premium private, yeah. So 270,000 is going to be close to 500,000.
Close to, yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, 400,000, something like that. Yeah, just for a degree. Goodness me. All right, next rung down. I'm not going to be those premium private. I'm just a poor person. Specialized schools. So that's interesting. So 160,000 to 177,000. So that's still, it's not quite as high. And that's for like DigiPen. I don't know if you've heard of DigiPen, but that's the only one I've heard of before. So these are specialized schools. That might be sort of a little bit like Torrens, maybe, that you guys went to. And then there's the final one is look how much it goes down. Public in state. This is my level. 25,000 to 90,000. State universities, yeah. So yeah, that's much more reasonable. And I'm assuming that's kind of in the ballpark of. You don't have to sort of mention any figures, but I'm assuming that's kind of more the ballpark of where you guys are at. And what
Yeah,
a normal Australian.
I think 60 when I
Yeah.
looked at mine.
Okay. So yeah. So it's about that, the public in-state. I don't think in Australia we don't have premium private. Do a Bond University maybe? I don't know. But I don't think we go up to that level. So thank God we haven't spent.
I think it
that
just
much.
depends on like the caliber of uni. Like the top name ones do tend to charge a little bit more.
A little
That's
bit
about it.
more? 270 grand? Goodness me.
Oh no,
That's more
I
than a
meant
little
in
bit.
Australia.
Oh, in Australia? Yeah, you might be correct, but it's still nothing like this. Nothing like that.
Nothing like that, no.
So University Path, key advantages, structured networking. So alumni networks, faculty connections. Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of stuff I would have liked to have seen in Torrens, basically, but I don't think that's really happened. Am I wrong? Do you guys? Did you get alumni networks?
No, not really. I feel like, yeah, Torrens fell flat a lot with its sort of, structured networking. And that was a common complaint to every other sort of person in my classes that I would discuss over. There's no sort of events or things specific for our courses and whatnot.
Apart from our weekly stream.
I've
Not to
made
mention them closing down a more sort of accessible networking solution like Discord in favor of Microsoft Teams.
Yeah,
that.
Teams.
that really broke it for me.
You weren't the only one. Yeah. So it's a pity they don't have some sort of alumni Discord server. I don't quite know why they don't do that, but yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. Sam, sorry, you were saying something?
I think over the entire degree, I may be kept in touch with 2 to 3 other people, former students, but
Yeah.
not, apart from that, there wasn't really any sort of central place to go for events. And
Particularly
teams were-
online. You guys all did it online as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is even harder. I mean, if you're going into class and talking to people, that's if you're not doing that actually makes it a bit harder as well. What about the next one? There was a sort of an internship program, wasn't there? But I think a lot of them they weren't, because of the industry here in Australia. it's very hard to get internships actually in a games company. Did you guys do that?
Yeah, well, I searched for my own one, could not find it, just because of lack of, things. And the one we did for when I did the unit was not games at all. It wasn't games related. We did a VR experience for the Adelaide sort of, what was it, the Dark Sky Murray River Reserve, I think.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And which was actually really cool to work on. It wasn't a
Yeah.
game, but it was still like an interactive experience and really fun. And then we also had to make an app for them. So it was very out of sort of the ballpark for a lot of people. Like I luckily got put on the VR team and not the app team because I've got no interest in building apps.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what other people's experiences are. Like, what did you guys do for your internships?
I just had work integrated learning.
Mm.
That's the one.
was
That's the one we're talking about, isn't it?
That's that's
internship.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was just making a small game demo for a private company who wanted a learning philosophical sort of ethics learning environment game for teaching a specific topic.
That actually seems pretty good. I did that.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's still the game environment.
Was it good? Was it
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, it was good. Our topic was getting even, which was like a noir 2.5D project where you played the role of a detective koala hunting down who ruined like someone's pie.
Who ruined someone's pie? Okay, sounds great. That sounds really good. What about you, Fraser?
We got involved in the Torrens Billy Blue Design School rebrand. So it was a little bit of a like, here's a design brief, make a game, and I think a lot of us were under the impression that our games would be shown off through this sort of rebrand, but never came to fruition. And checking in on Billy Blue, it's all there's no mention of games. The closest is like 3D animation and 3D design. So it's like, yeah, and
that's
then,
unfortunate.
yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with our game. I think technically parts of it would still be under NDA, but I'm like, they don't seem to be. The rebrand has come out, so
Yeah.
but yeah,
Was
so
sorry, continue. I'll ask my question.
I was just saying, it was just that it ended up being it was a cool concept, the idea of creating like a online game which would act like a social space for students, and facilitate sharing and posting art, whether that be like 3D, 2D, and just sort of acting like a social space for online students.
Nice. Was there, because a friend of mine who was doing uni at the same time as me, but she had a bit more to do before we finished, said she had to do a similar thing for that subject, had to do with like the branding. I think it might have been just for Torrens rather than Billy Blue though. But I'm just wondering if it was the same project. My memories are she was saying it's sort of like this little first person experience where the world's really highly interactive and you sort of walk around and just sort of cause as much chaos as you can. Does that sort of ring familiar to you?
Yeah, I think same design brief. But I don't think we were working on the same project.
Okay.
All right. Well, so it sounds like there's a bit of that going on. Maybe not quite what we want, but that sounds pretty good.
Compared to sort of what was in some of the marketing material for signing up for the degree, wasn't quite the same by the time I got there. But we
got a comment. We got a comment there. It's Crash Test Butter searching for jobs related to the topic here in Germany. Okay. For mobile games. So you're searching for jobs in the games industry? Is that what I'm reading there? Not quite sure. Mobile games are 3D artists. If anyone has
mobile
a job
games,
in Germany,
I do often see job listing for mobile games. That's for sure.
Oh, okay. So looking into the market, yeah. I think I'm not sure what Germany's like compared to Australia. Australia's pretty bad right at the moment, but I think Europe's a little bit better.
I was getting sick of searching game design and getting like gaming, so gambling, slot
Oh, yeah.
machines. I'm like, that's really the last one. And then one time I got a job for some sort of like army thing, and I was like, this
Simulation?
is not what I want.
Was it
I
simulation?
don't remember. I've heard the,
Was it
the
was it
talks.
BAE Systems, BAE Systems?
Oh, I've seen plenty of that, but no, I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was. I just remember it was like the last straw after like 5 gambling design things, and then like a military one. I was like, nah, I'm turning the computer off for today.
Yeah, and this is where the
Yeah.
networking thing comes in. You got to just start trying to meet people and getting stuff word of mouth. I really feel like that's how it just sort of works best. Hey,
How much does GCAP cost, Charlie? I remember it being fairly
it's like
expensive.
280 for a day or 600 for the 3 days. So I've
Yeah.
put a bit of I'm going for the 3 days, and I'm gonna make it a tax write-off for me. And I figured it's just an investment in my career. But yeah, it was painful to part with that money.
Yeah, but look, yeah, I mean, you're right. The sort of networking side of things, sometimes you do have to spend money. That's the problem.
Yeah, totally.
Sounds like Germany has a problem with gambling, gambling issues, things as well. Crash Test Butter saying there. So yeah, the searching for game developers and coming up with gambling sites. Bummer.
Maybe that's just what we all need to do. Become,
Oh,
slot
no
machine
way.
designers.
No way. No way. Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on. Systematic mentorship, industry connected professors. I don't know whether you. I mean, obviously that's good to have that sort of thing. I'm not too sure how much we had. I think we used to have more of it in Torrens. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like a couple of my teachers had, some industry connections. But I feel like there wasn't too much opportunity, to really being online, get to really know a lot of the teachers.
Yeah.
I think that's
So-
where online learning falls short when you go through a uni, and it's definitely worth sort of going in person.
Yeah. And the next one's immediate job placement. Well, that's just not going to happen in Australia right at the moment. It might have
Yeah, that-
happened 2 years
What?
ago. 2 years ago, potentially. I mean, Charlie? Didn't you left and got a job, mate?
Yeah, but
you
that
did
had
that.
nothing to do with uni.
No, but it was the press. It was the prestige. It was the prestige of getting out. I'm sure.
It was the weirdest thing. It was like a friend of a friend who knew someone else who needed
Yeah.
an extra programmer, and I was like, "All right, give me their number," and we just chatted. And he said I sounded cool. Doesn't matter what I know, I'll teach you. And I went, "Sweet, let's go."
Right. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, but look, in a different climate, you would have a better chance of getting a job in the industry. Unfortunately, the climate right at the moment, yeah, that's not the case. 2 years from now, things may be quite different. So I guess having that having a university degree as a graduate is going to potentially give you a job in in like a AA or certainly AAA thing, as a junior for sure. You got much more chance, I think. Yeah. So the online learning path's kind of interesting though. We've sort of talked about this flexibility and community. So the cost structure is kind of really interesting. So you got your free resources, the Unity Learn, obviously YouTube, forums. There's plenty of Unreal Engine things out there as well. So there are plenty of resources, which is one of the reasons I sort of wanted to look at this, because there's so much stuff out there online that you can definitely jump in and learn everything you need to know from YouTube or different forums, etc. And it's all free pretty much. There's also this premium platforms, so Coursera, Pluralsight. Is Khan Academy free, or did you have to pay for that?
That's free.
There's
Khan
definitely a
Academy's
free
free.
tier.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
there's a paid tier as well though.
Right. I'm going to have a look at Khan Academy. I mean, I haven't heard about it for like 10 years. It was big probably about 2010. There was this big thing about Khan Academy, and I haven't
Yeah.
really heard much about it since then. But it sounds like it's still there.
Yeah, it seems to still be kicking. Like I heard about it in my years 12 days, I remember, in school, and then that it was still there when I was doing maths for this
Yeah.
degree, so it helped a lot.
What about boot camps? So they're talking about some boot camps there. Not cheap. 9,000 to 15,000. Vertex School Circuit Stream. You guys heard about any boot camps? Like
I haven't heard of
game
those. What's
development?
a like? So you go somewhere and then you just spend a couple of weeks
Well, even
learning
online
and making stuff.
potentially could even be online where you just do like an intensive C plus maybe C sharp and Unity course or something, but not. I think it's where you actually have, even if it's online, you have access to tutors and mentors and things like that.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's where the costs do start. Once you start getting that one-on-one, or not even one-on-one, like a traditional classroom where you've got a tutor or a lecturer or a mentor, then that's when the costs start going up, because of course you've got to pay for
Yeah.
that person. If it's just online, and you're just watching videos, well, it can be pretty cheap. Do you guys know of any boot
Yeah.
camps? Anyone else? Fraser?
No, I've never really heard of the boot camps. I can definitely say it's worth finding like the premium platforms, and if you find like a course for a couple games, it's 30-40 bucks. It's always worth it once you get through it.
Hmm.
There was
Sam,
one at the
Fraser, yeah?
local universities which was doing a code boot camp,
Oh, yes.
and there's also an international one called 42 Academy, which is, I think, it originates from France, but it's like a trial by fire, and you do lots of stuff in C, and it was not my preferred pathway, but for some people it would be.
Right. Yeah, now that you mentioned, I'd forgotten, but yeah, I have seen code boot camps for sure. Absolutely. I don't think it'd be a very good way to learn coding, but I guess for some people who have, don't have a lot of time but have a bit more money, bit different to going. Like, it's not necessarily
And,
much
and
cheaper than.
fantastic memory.
Well, yeah, doing stuff like, I don't know. I really don't know. We've got another comment here. In Germany, have something like a acknowledged job list. That's kind of interesting. Those have criteria and accepted as apprenticeship and university courses. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I think Germany's a lot more structured than Australia. I think in Australia we're pretty relaxed mostly. Game dev is one of those, and it is okay. And going the online course is usually not that highly regarded. Yeah, from employers. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. I think Australia's a little bit more relaxed and laid back.
Yeah, I guess that's where the university degree, trumps it a bit, because like Crash Test Butter is saying, not all employers will see, maybe a boot camp certification and go, oh, that's what we need, or they'll more likely go like, yeah, maybe.
But let's wait for the end of this stuff, because it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting to see sort of what happens. So key advantages to online learning. So ultimate flexibility, of course. If you're working full time or whatever, you learn at your own pace. Direct industry access, so professional communities, Discord servers. Of course, you've got to find them, but they definitely are out there. And I mean, I've got local Discord servers of game developers locally here in Melbourne. There's also, there's the Unreal server, which is the place to go to ask questions and what have you. If you can get known, and you can sort of get, this is where the networking can happen. If you're on a Discord server and you're actually, you're engaging and you're answering questions and you're talking to people, that's, to me, that's a place where you can absolutely get work coming out of that with a bit of work, a bit of sort of effort and stuff going into it. So I'm sure Unity would have something similar. Specialized focus as well, so you can focus on what you want to do, target specific skills, specific engines, whichever ones you want to do. Lower financial risk, minimal upfront investment. So I guess here in Australia, we've been talking about HexDebt. HexDebt is the government-funded loan scheme for education. So it's kind of, and you only pay that off when you're earning a certain amount. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have to be earning, I don't know how much it is now, but I'm assuming, what, 50, 60,000 before you start paying that off?
Just changed it, right?
Did they? What, do you know what the figure is now?
Pulling it up.
Did they increase it or lower it? I feel like it was like 55 last time I looked at it. Maybe it's gone up.
Which is not a huge amount to be earning, to be honest. 55. So, you know.
67 potentially.
67. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So that makes it a bit easier, I think, in a country like Australia. If you're maybe in the US, I don't, obviously it's a bit different over there depending where you are, and I think even what state you might be in.
The other hack for HexDebt is that it doesn't get passed on when you die. So.
All right, so you can just
So
your
stay
clogs,
poor all
pop
your
your
life,
clogs.
never pay it off. And
Yeah.
I think I'd rather earn money and pay it back. Yeah, that would
Hey,
be mine.
you know, just another option.
Sure, if you really want to. So there's a reality check here. So self-discipline required. Only 5 to 15% tend to be the completion rates for free resources. So that's an interesting one. It doesn't surprise me. It's like having a free event. Have you ever noticed, like, either if you're going to a free event or if you're organising a free event, quite often a lot of people will not turn up because they don't have to pay anything. Whereas if you even charge people for like $5, they'll turn up because they've paid something for it. So it's quite interesting that completion rate for free resources. Yeah. Also timeline. Yeah, timeline. I think, like you were saying, Charlie, if someone is very motivated, then they're going to be able to get a job much faster. So 6 months to 4 years for job readiness. Like I've seen, particularly in games, you get students who've played a lot of games and they're really enthusiastic. I think, if you get someone like that, a couple of years, they could potentially be ready. So I think there's options there. It's quite interesting. I'm thinking about this, going through my mind, like, how much is out there? So career outcomes comparison. So this is quite interesting. So university grads, 0 to 18 months in a different, if the environment was different to what it is right now here in Australia. Self-taught 6 months to 4 years, varies by dedication. 6 months is pretty good. Gee, that's actually not too bad at all. Yeah. Salary progression as well. This is quite interesting. So entry level university grads, 50 to 85k. That's a very big spread. That's very big. Slight premium for university grads. Mid-level, 3 to 5 years. Oh, hang on. That's comparing entry level. So 50. Okay. So 50k self-taught, 85k. That is one of the things. If you're going for a job at a large company, I'd say, and this goes for any profession, if you have a degree, you always get extra. You always get more money. That's just the way that it works. If you're going for a job at, like a small group of indie developers, you're one of 4 or 5, wouldn't make a difference. But then again, you're probably not going to be paid as much. So yeah, that's just across the board. One of the reasons for having and in fact, having a university degree, even if you don't go and end up in games, if you go and do something else, programming somewhere else, or using your design skills somewhere else, you can still get a job, and because you got that degree, you're still getting the extra sort of premium for having a degree. So that still is the case. So mid-level here, 3 to 5 years, 75k to 125k. And then senior level, 100k to 150k. So skills based, not degree based. So that's interesting. So that's senior level. It's sort of saying it doesn't really matter whether you have a degree or not. It's your level of skill that is the factor there. And the final thing, the success factor, portfolio quality, networking effectiveness matter more than education path after 3 to 5 years. Yes, I would say, particularly in games, that is definitely the case. you may recall that I did emphasize having a good portfolio, perhaps.
Mm.
Yes? No?
Yep,
Yes?
definitely.
Yeah.
I did. Portfolio is kind of everything, so having a portfolio there. But yeah, look, having the degree, that's one of the things that I would say is that when you're starting out particularly, and if you're in a large company, like if you go for a job at a bank or anything like that, you just get extra, you do get a premium. And sometimes you can only progress to a certain amount having a degree as well. So Crash Test Butter say skill-based payment is universal for programmers. It might depend. I mean, I'm not in Germany, Crash Test Butter, but it might depend on whether you're going for a large company or a smaller company as well. I have a feeling the corporates still give you a premium, unless maybe you've got 10 years experience or something like that. But yeah, I think there's good. That's one of the good reasons to go for the degree outcome. So game programming, yeah. So there's a bit of a difference here compared to excuse me, to design. So again, this is US dollars, 69,215 entry level. Oh, excuse me. 150,000 to 300,000 senior. So that's programming. Key skills: C++, AAA, C# for Unity, specialization focused. Portfolio needs. Here we go. Is this so? We've got here 2 to 3 completed games, clean source code, technical docs. Does that sound like what you were expecting?
In a portfolio? Yeah, more or less. The technical docs, I don't know about. You definitely want to be showing some of your code as a programmer.
Sam?
And the 2 to 3 completed games, yeah, for sure. I feel like having those completed titles is like such a necessity for people to really consider your portfolio.
How many have you got now?
Complete. Well, I've got nothing shipped, which means 0. I've got completed small projects and stuff which I have up there, but
Well, so nothing shipped. That's interesting. We did because it doesn't mention shipped here as well, but I do see that in job ads. Shipped.
Everyone I've
games.
talked to, like in a professional standard, they pretty much have just said, yeah, we want to see shipped games. Small projects are cool. They show your passion, and your creativity.
Yeah.
But whether you can see things through and do the full 9 yards. At least that's what I've been told, and the impressions that I get.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen the same sort of talk.
About shipped games, yeah.
Yeah.
So, game design, a little bit different. So you can see the difference in salary range there. 67 to 95k, typically lower than programming. Key skills: systems thinking, creative vision, basic scripting. Portfolio needs. This is a bit different then, isn't it? Design documents, playable prototypes, iteration, evidence. So that's a big difference from like 2 to 3 complete games. That's seems to me like the design people get a much easier play of things, don't they? Yeah.
Just got to get it started, get the ball rolling, really.
Yeah, exactly. And let the programmer finish it.
Yeah. And then you hand it off to the business people.
And then you hand it to the business people. Absolutely. That's interesting. But yeah, we've said, Fraser, you and I think we've spoken a number of times about design not really being a mature discipline. Something we'll get into in more detail at some stage. But that's a big issue, I think. The fact that designers get paid less than programmers. Yeah, I guess that's why I worked as a programmer for a long time. It was the money, for sure. So the trend here: programming and design, hybrid roles command premium compensation. Well, there you go. If you can do both, if you can do programming and design.
Yeah, it's kind of the golden ticket, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it actually? Is it really? I mean, shouldn't you just do one or the other? What's if you
No, but
think
how use unless you're in a massive team, how useful is a person who's got one really refined skill?
well then where okay, like I'm thinking of places I've worked before. There's usually a programming programming section and a design section, and you can't work in both.
No, yeah, that's for sure. I
Like,
guess I'm just thinking about very small indie teams, which is what I'm used to right now. Is two to four people, two to
yes,
three even. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm seeing here, was it? I respect programmers so much because I struggle with it. I'm trying to learn in my own time. We talked about it earlier on. Actually, also like C# compared to visual scripting is quite interesting. If you don't like programming, try visual scripting like with Unreal Engine. That might be easier.
That's what I found for sure.
Yeah. So. Okay, so Crash Test Bot is saying designers paid less than programs, same in web dev. Okay. Yeah, visual scripting. You might be more of a sort of the design, creative design sort of type person. That can be. Yeah, in my experience, most artists and designers find visual scripting a lot easier. So where are we at? This is taking a lot longer than I thought. It's nearly 4:30. we've got another section to do. Unity focused, platform specialization impact. So Unity focused. So this is interesting. So Sam and Charlie are both Unity focused. Yeah, mobile gaming, indie development,
apparently.
VR, AR, 60% of content. Pros: broader opportunities, lower entry barriers. Salary 95 to 133. Mobile specialists. So, are you guys keen on getting into mobile? I mean, is that
Not
Sam?
Not
Charlie?
particularly.
No?
particularly.
But
I think
it is. Sorry, you go first. I'll say after.
for me, because of where I'm based in Adelaide, there's not much in the way of game developers, and like mobile developers, and for that same salary, I could get a job with like .NET, React, and join the corporate culture.
Hang on,
So it's-
didn't Hollow Knight come from Adelaide? Isn't that the Hollow
did.
Knight? Yeah.
They did,
Yeah,
but
that was
that's
a team of two, yeah, wasn't it? Was Hollow Knight a team of two?
yeah. But first need to have funding so you can live and support yourself while you're making a big project like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's just
Yes.
it. Like I find whenever I see job ads, they're usually for mobile games, and there's plenty of small studios focusing on the mobile games because that's where all the money is, right? Like it's easy to make a well, it's not easy to make a mobile game, but it's easier to make money off a mobile game, is what I'm getting from the current sort of state of the game world.
Dark patterns. We can use our dark patterns to draw people in and sell them loot boxes and get them addicted.
Straight on their mobile
Absolutely.
devices.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so Unity focused. Again, this is US, but I have to admit, I have seen over the last few years a real shift from Unity to Unreal, which is quite interesting. So we were going to look at some Unreal in the last part of our stream, but I'm not sure whether we're going to get there. We were going to talk about some Unreal optimization. But I'm not sure whether we'll get there or not. Unreal Engine, here we go. Unreal, AAA development. So the market is AAA development, high fidelity 3D games. So, I mean, Fraser, you're using Unreal, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Whereas Sam and Charlie are using Unity, which is kind of interesting. But none of you want to do mobile games.
Well,
Well, anything that pays.
look, no, I mean, there's been a very small section of mobile games which I think have had a much more interesting and I'd say maybe honest approach to sort of being games. I'm thinking of things like Gubbins, where it's prioritized. What do they call them, like premium, right? Where you actually have to pay money, which is
Yeah.
for some reason,
Instead of freemium.
out of the box thinking for a mobile game. So there are I think it would be a fun challenge to design a mobile game, given the context of it being in that sort of premium section. But that's a big aside. Yeah, Unreal Engine. I mean, when I was halfway through my uni degree, when Unity came out with some weird decisions to try and charge people for every player of a game or something like that.
I think the technical term for that is that they crapped the bed.
Yeah,
that is the technical term. They really crapped the bed on that one.
It made it really easy to be like, well, let's try Unreal instead. And then, as a designer, visual scripting just makes way more sense in my brain, and it feels more approachable, especially for prototyping. But so it's sort of fell into it that way.
So you prefer the blueprint visual scripting. We've got some comments there on that as well, who I think kind of agree about that, the visual scripting making it a lot easier.
Yeah.
For non-programmers, particularly for non-programmers.
Yeah. I think it just it sort of feels, well, I don't know, because I'm like, I have a very logical brain, and so the idea of coding and how the computer interprets commands makes sense to me, and I think that helps with visual scripting. But I think it's just a case of the idea of having to learn essentially a whole new language just to be able to try and prototype feels more daunting than sort of the patchwork bit by bit learning that I can do with visual scripting, just getting enough knowledge to make something work without having to fully understand it back to front.
Any comments from our Unity friends? Sam, Charlie?
I was just thinking that, because there's, mention of the Unity charging and then everyone's shifting from there. I remember when it happened, I was deep in a project, too far, and I was like, we can't swap now.
Yeah,
we're just gonna have to deal with this if this is going to be the way and we want to continue it.
Yeah.
But luckily they did backpedal. But it's definitely gotten me a lot more interested in shifting engines. It's just it's literally just been by the circumstance, I guess, for me, that jobs that I am getting are Unity based, and I'm like, well, I do have my major skills there, so I'll stick with it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you've got that, Crash Test Banner mentioned Godot. Have you looked at Godot at all?
Yeah, Godot was one of the ones that we were going to move to, and it seemed like a good step from Unity, at least, a lot of the same sort of structures and whatnot, though they do have their own scripting language. Well, I can't remember what it's called, but it is similar to C#.
They don't use Python or something? I thought you used Python. No?
Maybe that's the base of it. It's like an adapted version of a language that's specific to their engine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so... Sorry, Sam?
I'm a bit of a weird one where I like punishing myself and do want to learn OpenGL and have a crack at my own.
Oh man, OpenGL. Ouch.
So you want to write your own game engine, Sam? That's what you're telling me.
That's Monday.
Yeah. Takes a long time.
Awesome. That's tough. It's a tough path.
It used to be,
in my opinion, at least.
It used to be the rule 12, 15 years ago. You had to. There was no choice.
Yeah.
You had to pay $1 million for an Unreal 2 engine license. It was just completely unaffordable. All right, so let's see if we can finish this. We can maybe have a look at some of the Unreal stuff. Strategic recommendations. Yes, we're near the end. So complete beginners. Start with Unity, broader opportunities, or Unreal AAA focus. I would say for beginners, start with Unreal now, because there's more Unreal out there than Unity in general. Particularly if you're not a pro, if you're not a C#. If you already know C#, sure, jump into Unity. If you are a complete beginner with no programming, go for Unreal and start there, and then you can jump over to Unity if you need to. Invest 6 months in structured learning. For Unreal?
Yeah, what are the learning resources like? Because I remember when I was trying to choose an engine, the learning resources were not super great for Unreal or gated behind payments, and where Unity had a more fleshed out program at that time. This is this is 5 years ago now.
Yeah,
and that led my decision. But
I'm not sure. I couldn't compare Unity to Unreal. When I learned Unreal, which was a long time ago, the learning resources were you open up the header file of the C++ and you look at what's in that and you work it out from there. And good luck with it. So this is sort of back in 2003, and that's kind of that was the that was the help the courses that were out there. So invest 6 months in structured learning. That's an interesting. I'd say that's probably a good suggestion. If you're not too sure, do some sort of structured course, online course. See how you go. See what you like. Build one complete game demonstrating core skills. Sure. Consider Unity certified user certification. I mean, fair enough. I think Unreal has that now. I think Unreal also has that Unreal certified user certification, but that's like only in the last sort of 12 months or something. Budget conscious path, right. leverage Unity Learn plus high quality YouTube channels, supplement with community college programming courses. Obviously this is sort of US based. Here it would be like TAFE or something, whatever your sort of cheaper options are. Invest selectively in premium courses for skill gaps. Structured support seekers in state public programs. So these are the cheaper, like public universities, which is probably most of them in Australia. Cost-wise, are about the same. So exceptional return on investment. There you go. Premium private programs for accelerated placements. Yeah, I think those premium private things are better for once you have your degree. It's almost like doing a certificate in AI or something like that. Once you've got a degree in computer science. Or something similar, or software engineering, then you do like your certificate in AI or something along those lines. Bootcamp for intensive career-focused training. Again, I think that's once you're. To me, these ones are more if you want to change your career. If you're looking to go from say just a program like a normal programmer doing some sort of business type programming. And you want to change to games programming, I would have thought that would be where you want to do your intensive career focused training. That's in my opinion. And the portfolio imperative. This is the one that it really comes down to. I think portfolio doesn't matter if you got a degree and no portfolio, you're not going to get a job. So programming portfolio, have completed games, clean source code, technical docs. Your design portfolio, your design documents, playable prototypes. I'd say you should have some completed games in there as well. Just saying, I would be looking for completed games. I would look for something, whether you're a designer or a programmer, please. Show me you can actually do shit. Community engagement, game jams, Discord servers, local meetups. It's also hard. I find there's so many things to do. I need another one of me who's an extrovert, who sits alongside of me and does all this stuff. While I do the other stuff that I'm interested in.
Same.
Just this sort of stuff, the networking I find quite hard. Continuous learning, industry stays cutting edge. That's a really good point. I mean, you can't, like I've just picked up Unreal Engine 5.6. That's actually changed a fair bit. So you can't just sort of sit on your laurels and expect things to stay the same. And I'm sure Unity, continuously brings out new versions.
Yeah.
API
Well, their biggest
changes.
update. Yeah. Their biggest update number, Unity 6 now, has brought in quite a few changes.
Yeah. So critical insights, skills demonstration matters more than educational credentials. Yes. But having both is not such a bad thing. Skills demonstration and a degree, I would say, it's not such a bad thing. So key takeaways and decision framework. So choose university path. If you want a structured networking and mentorship, networking and mentorship. If you prefer systematic learning environments, you can access quality in-state public programs targeting AAA studios. So yeah, if you want AAA studios and you're programming, you want to be doing C++ as well. Value credentials for risk mitigation. Online learning, if you're self-disciplined and prefer flexibility, want to minimize financial risk, targeting indie mobile development, you can dedicate 20 to 30 hours weekly to intensive learning. I mean, that's pretty much a full-time study as well, anyway, isn't it? 20 to 30 hours.
That is,
Yeah, that's like a full-time job. And this is the universal truth, which I thought was quite interesting. Consistent skill development plus portfolio building plus networking equals career success, regardless of educational path chosen. I think that's a really interesting insight, and I think that's quite correct. Consistently doing stuff, having a portfolio, and networking. And I think all you guys are doing it. I think at this point in time,
it is definitely something that needs to be reminded. Like I have less depressy, more progressy etched into my monitor here at my computer, because I find it is something that you can like lose motivation, just sort of go stagnate for a little bit. And but it is just, if you just keep doing stuff, you do make progress.
Yeah. Fraser?
Yeah, I think I like it because I can see it as sort of, like a weighted system, right? It's like you can, as long as you're doing one of these, you're making progress. But if you can balance them all out, then you'll really, start making movements. Or at the very least, if you break it down, it's do stuff, show it off, and then find the people to show it to. So as long as you're doing that, at some point, somebody, you're putting yourself out there so that when the time comes, you're ready to go. You're not trying to catch it in the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Sam?
Yeah, pretty much everything's been covered. It just reminds me I need to...
You need to get in earlier, Sam.
Just made... one thing I'll say is that I need to update my portfolio site from my capstone. And
you mean you haven't updated your portfolio site yet, Sam? Didn't we talk about this just a few weeks ago? I mean, you've got your Rich.io page, so that's part of your portfolio site, yeah? Yeah. No, I think all you guys are doing exactly what you need to do, and keeping busy, like coming and doing this sort of stuff. I think this helps to kind of. This is part of. I guess this is sort of part of networking, even if it's just hanging out with other game developers and talking shit like we kind of are. I think that's useful just to kind of keep focused and know what's sort of going on and everything. Yeah. So, so there we go. Sort of looking at any of the sort of the comments here. So the whole industry's very new. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, okay. We've got 20 minutes. Should we look at Unreal Engine? We're talking about Unity and Unreal Engine. There's been some. I like Unreal Engine. I've been pushing for Unreal Engine for a long time, and everyone's been saying no, Unity, we love Unity, and now everyone has jumped onto Unreal Engine, and not surprising, we're seeing some really badly optimized games. Now, this does not surprise me one bit. I might actually hide my face because I just want people to see everything. There we go. So it looks, the Unreal Engine looks good. This is 5.6. This is the latest version, and of course, I think they've taken a leaf out of Apple's book, and they've moved everything that used to be here. They've moved over here to the right hand side, and everything that used to be here, they've now moved over to here. So that they've done something really, really special. Sorry, I'm being really sarcastic. It's just I keep going over here to find the stuff that's here, and over here to find the stuff that's here. But they have made some really nice changes under the hood. And what have you guys heard about? We did talk last week about some of the issues with optimization. Any of you guys want to comment on any of that?
Just about Borderlands. That's been in the news quite a bit.
Yeah, what's going on with that? I have seen the headlines, but I haven't read the issue with that one.
It's not optimized. It's not optimized. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game, story. And it runs like crap. Even on people who have like a 5090, RTX 5090 is still having trouble running it. And optimization. Optimization is still this big problem for some reason. And then, that's a AAA. That's 2K. That's part of Gearbox within 2K.
Yeah.
That's not a small indie developer or anything. And it's a pity. So I just wanted to, look at some of the things here in Unreal Engine. There's some really basic stuff, No, I don't think. Well, I think Fraser and myself are the only two sort of Unreal Engine devotees here. But I think Sam and Charlie, you're both pretty up to speed on the rendering pipeline and everything. So a lot of this stuff I think will make sense to you. So I'm just want to show a few things. So these days it's really easy. On the right hand side now, not on the left hand side, we've got to come to show, and now you used to have to go into the command line for this, but now you can just jump into viewport stats. FPS obviously gives you. Shall I ask? What do you think FPS gives you? Frames per second. Okay, yeah. We're doing FPS, and we like a nice at least minimum 60 FPS. Yeah. There's a few other things down here though, and there's this thing called a unit. I'm just going to select unit, and what that gives you, just really basically, FPS. Yeah. So I'm getting about 90 frames a second here. I don't know whether does it look any good on the stream? I can't. Can you read it on the stream?
Yeah, I can read it.
Yeah. If I full screen.
86.
Yeah. So 11 milliseconds per frame. That's nice. Shows me, the frame. It's giving me extra information. This is the stat stuff. It's breaking the processing into. We have the game time processing. So the game. This is generally what we assume is kind of be the CPU kind of stuff. So this is 3 to 4 milliseconds. That's pretty good. And then we have the draw calls. So draw is basically the GPU, and whichever one of these is higher is going to be the frame. What's giving us the frame, because these are happening separately. So you can see the draw calls are what's taking us the time, the 11 milliseconds. The game, obviously, we're not even in a game, so you wouldn't expect it to be particularly high. What else have we got here? That's the main stuff here. We've got some memory, render resolution. Oh, that tells us render resolution. That's kind of important. The number of primitives and the draws. So, this is why I don't understand why things are so poorly optimized. Because all you need to do when you're developing the game, come into here, put those two on, and you can really see what is going on.
Just look around.
There it is. And I mean, that's the basic stuff. That is the, when you're developing in Unreal, I'm assuming does Unity have something similar?
Yeah.
So
the stats bar at the top, which tells you like the frame render time.
Right. Yeah. So I'm assuming Unity has all this. It's just in a different place. So you can also. So you've also got, what do we want to see? Scene rendering. Okay. So if we want to see more detail, scene rendering is going to be GPU stuff. Here we go. So we can see what's going on, what's creating. Obviously, it's gone up a little bit because we're actually interrogating it as well. We're putting that stuff on screen. Render view family, init views. This is an interesting one. This used to be, I don't know. I looked this stuff. It was culling. View frustum culling, but I have a feeling there's a bit more involved there now, because it's quite high. I'm kind of surprised how high that is. That's like 7 milliseconds for a total of like 10, 11 milliseconds. But then you've got all this stuff here. So if you're having problems, like if for some reason the lighting was dying, like if I was getting lots of problems, and I've had this before, and you want to find out, what's going on? Is it the shadows? Is it the lighting? So you can come in here really easily, see what it is in your rendering that's taking time. So and the ones that are taking more time go to the top. So you can very, very easily see what your problems are. This is GPU, so very, very easy to see this. It's broken up into different parts. If on the other hand it's actually not that, you can also check your memory. Your streaming texture pool, which is often an issue in Unreal Engine. this often runs out. You can say it's only 1,000. I don't know why the streaming pool is so small. Like, it's only just 1 gig. I've got 16 gig VRAMs. I don't know why it's only 1 gig. But anyway, this sort of happens quite often. Your texture memory pool runs out. Pixel shader memory. So you can see all this stuff. You can see what's going on. So I don't see how there is an excuse for Unreal Engine stuff to be so poorly optimized when there are, there's really basic tools. Did no one tell them that this, I don't know what this one is actually, that this sort of stuff was there?
They were looking for the settings on the other side of the screen. I'll wager.
I imagine so. But I'm like, how? No one did any profiling. No one looked at any of this sort of stuff when they're playing the game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know what the excuse is, but it's clear the tools are there, and you can just turn them on, have a look around, see what's peaking, see what's not, and then chase those problems down. Like, is it due to just a lack of testing across a broad range of, consoles and computer types and, different graphics cards and whatnot?
It's a really good question.
I can't help but think it's a case of, well, it runs well enough on, the PC we played it on, and someone in a suit is like, yep, looks like it's finished to me, ship it. And you just neglect any of that sort of, we'll patch it before it launches, all of that classic sort of business tampering. That's the only thing I can think, because it's like any game dev working on it is going to care. They know these exist, they're going to see it, and it's like, yeah, it can't be on a game dev at the end of the day. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It also might be that the expectations, because they're moving to the Unreal Engine, and the execs, the studio execs or the business side, don't necessarily understand. If they're not programmers, they've got no clue about what's required. And so they think that you can just use the Unreal Engine or Unity or whatever out of the box and do whatever you like with it and it'll run, which is what a lot of students that I have think. But the students have the excuse of really being just out of high school kind of stuff. So it makes sense that they don't understand. But these execs not understanding, and what they've done is they've fired a lot of their technical team, because their experienced technical team, they've gone from having like a bespoke game engine they've written themselves, and they've gone to Unreal Engine, and they're just like, we don't need these technical people anymore. We can just fire all of them. And so they've got no one left who understands what goes on in a game engine and what you need to do to get the most out of it. I think that's what's going on.
I love.
Can I ask with the Unreal Engine, like, how accessible is the engine code? Like, can you make edits to things or to the editor itself? Because
you can
Unity,
download it. You can download it from Git, full C++.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can really
100%.
get in and optimize and change things for your needs.
Absolutely. If you need to.
That's good, because I find with Unity they actually lock their source code behind, so you're just dealing with whatever their latest mistakes are in their newest push, which is really annoying. But they do have a great layer on the editor layer. If you know how to sort of write editor code, you can really make a lot of fantastic things, which is what I've been getting into lately.
You mean tools?
You'd be able to...
You're talking about tools?
Yeah, tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to become a tools programmer.
Probably not, but I like doing it for my own, use, and then going, would I be able to sell this? And then never doing anything about it.
Of course, yeah. Crash Test Butters made a comment there about assuming that no programmer would be okay with your game running like a flipbook. Yeah, you'd think so. You would think so. But no,
I guess that's where
imagery too.
What's that?
I just love the imagery running like a flipbook. I think that's well worded.
Well,
Very much so.
It used to. 5.6 is definitely a lot better than it used to, than earlier versions. That's for sure. I did go in. I was looking here at where are we? So this is the content examples. One of my favorite, free to download from the Unreal, from the Unity. Sorry, not Unity. The Unreal Engine store. This is one's on lighting, so we can. This is a lot heavier on my machine because I don't have a. Oh, actually, it's not too bad now. What's going on there?
Draw calls are nice, staying in the
Oh.
10, 11 milliseconds.
That's because I'm streaming at the same time. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I looked at this the other day and I got some really bad. Oh, okay.
It's like, oh, we're streaming, better perform.
Yeah.
Epic has installed some digital RAM to make sure that this could run for the stream, I think.
But actually, look at the interest. This is interesting. No reflection or global illumination. 120 FPS. As soon as I move out of that, drops down to 90. So you can see, like this is a no programming way to change your sort of lighting settings. This is just a volume, post-process volume, and I mean you can. Where are we? Color grading. So global illumination, none. You can just turn it off. Like, this is how easy it is to sort of make changes to some of the lighting things that are here. No reflection. That's pretty good. No reflections. Lumen's the big problem. I think Lumen is the one. I need to spend time looking into Lumen this trimester. I'm teaching intro to computer graphics again, so I'm going to jump in that and look more into Lumen. We might talk some more about Lumen and stuff down the track when I've sort of looked into it. But I mean, it's quite interesting to see the difference between just global illumination and reflections, no global illumination or reflections. Huge difference. Screen space reflections. It's a really good little map if you are new to Unreal and you're sort of looking at the sort of lighting and stuff in there, seeing how all the lighting works. It's quite complicated, to be honest. Rectangular lights. So yeah. Anyway, look, I don't think there's really much of an excuse for these things not to be optimized. But you need to start out that way. You can't start and we'll chuck something in that's going to tax my system a lot more. You can't sort of start without thinking about optimization as well, I don't think.
I think it should be part of the design process where if you've got a target audience, you do need to have a bit of research behind you on what their likely hardware is going to be and sort of use that as the benchmark to develop towards.
Well, if your game doesn't run on a 5090, the latest, most powerful graphics card that costs the same as a small family car, then you've made some big mistakes.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Fraser, were you going to say something?
No, I agree.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's like, as a designer and not a programmer really in the slightest, only when I have to, that's what makes the most sense to me. Is it's like, why would I want to be thinking about, and maybe it's because we don't have a programmer for Arvo, so I'm like, the best way for me to optimize is to try and avoid what I know is going to be really taxing on the system, because rather than just making wild design decisions and then being like, I'll figure out how to optimize that later. It's like, well, I don't have those skills and I don't really want to spend the time to learn them. So I'll just avoid them as best I can, Just, it seems like a much more reasonable use of my time than, putting in crazy things that I can't actually manage.
You sort of take the safe road, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, if we had a programmer dedicated to optimization, or if that was something I was good at and enjoyed and had the time to do, then it's a different story. But when you don't, it seems crazy to ignore that and just think that you can work it out afterwards.
What do our programming gurus think?
I don't know. It's a hard one. I've always been told, and I don't agree with this. Make now, optimize later. Um, because the later you leave optimizations, I always find it's just harder and harder with more and more things to consider. So it's definitely
Mm.
better to consider it within the design of especially like the systems you're building. Um, but at the same time, like it's an iterative process. I think, getting things out quick to see, what, because you're juggling, right? You're juggling your design, your time making it, how optimized it can be. Um, I don't really know what the answer is. Everything needs to be considered. How to do that, I'm unsure.
That does
Sam?
remind me. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Can I
it
jump
feels
in
like
really quick?
yeah.
Sorry. I was gonna say that just reminds me of the idea of when you are prototyping, you want to make it look like crap. You don't want to polish it too much so that somebody has to come back and replace it with the final version. So it's like
Yeah,
prototype, but don't ever think that the prototype can end up staying in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go. That's a good solution. Sorry, Sam, what were you going to say?
Yeah, more of the similar to what Charlie said, and that do it in sections.
Mm-hmm.
So when, like, for example, when I was doing my capstone, I noticed a few issues fairly early on where I was using lots of point lights because I didn't really know any better at the time,
Yes,
and
yes. I
discovered
recall.
that
I recall.
they tanked performance.
Yep. That's a
Heaps
small thing,
in-
though, isn't it? Like, that's a very small thing to know that, in fact, a point light is like using six different what do you call them? Directional lights, not directional lights,
Yeah.
spotlights. Yeah.
But it sort of
But-
came up iteratively. So when I had 20, it was okay, but when I had 60, it ran really slow.
Hmm.
And even
Yeah.
when I changed them all to point lights, spotlights, it still needed optimization because having 50 lights on rendering shadows and all of that in real time is
Yeah.
ridiculously expensive.
Mm.
So sort of that part of optimization for me comes, when you sort of realize that your approach isn't quite working out as it should.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that screams the importance of just knowing what you're doing. Like,
Yeah, that's
knowing-
experience. Yeah, that
Yeah,
really
it's
is experience. Yeah, yeah. So that's why, when they sack all the experienced developers, programmers, it's like, why does that game run like shit? It must be because we sacked all those people. Yeah, that's business people, bad business people. Mind you, weren't we talking about needing business people a little bit earlier on?
Uh-oh. Hopefully they didn't stick around for this.
Oh dear. Oh god. Anyway, it is 5 o'clock, so it's about time for us to wrap up. Thanks for everyone who was commenting. So I didn't get to all the comments, but much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. We should be back again at the same time next week at 3:30 on a Thursday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Not too sure what it is German time, but I guess you guys know what it is. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming, and we'll catch up
Yes.
with you again next week. So
Thanks,
goodbye.
guys.
Cheers, everybody. Catch you later.
7
See ya.
o'clock.
See ya.
See